everyone, and welcome back. I hope everyone is okay. In today's episode, I want to talk about a children's book that may seem very simple at first, but is actually quite powerful in its meaning. The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats. This is one of the most important texts that stays with you, not because of complex plots, but because of how it captures a moment, very quietly, very gently. The story follows a young boy named Peter as he experiences the first snowfall of the season. And that's really it. There is no dramatic conflict, no big turning point, just a child through the snow, observing, touching, playing, discovering. But I think that's exactly where the beauty of the book lies. Because it invites us to slow down. It focuses on small details, the sound of snow under your feet, the feeling of cold air, the simple joy of making footprints or building a snowman. These are everyday experiences, right? But they are presented with such attention and care that they become meaningful. From a literary perspective, we might say that the book centers on perception. It shows how a child sees the world not as something ordinary, but as something full of curiosity and wonder. And I think this is something we often lose as adults. Another important aspect of the Snowy Day is its historical and cultural significance. When it was first published, it was one of the very few children's books in the United States to feature a black child as the main character without making race the central issue of the story. Peter is not defined by struggle or conflict. He is simply a child experiencing a snowy day. And that a representation is very powerful because it normalizes a presence. It allows children to see themselves in stories not as exceptions, but as part of everyday life. From an academic perspective, we can also think about how the book challenges dominant narratives in children's literature. Instead of focusing on moral lessons or didactic messages, it emphasizes experiences, imagination, and sensory engagement. It also gives space to silence. There are moments in the book where nothing happens, and yet those moments feel full. They allow the reader to pause, to observe, to feel. Personally, what I appreciate most about this book is its calmness. It doesn't try to impress, it doesn't try to be loud. It simply tells a story and trusts that the simplicity is enough. And I think that's why it has remained so meaningful over time. It reminds us that literature doesn't always need complexity to be significant. Sometimes the smallest moments, if they are told with honesty, can stay with us the longest. If you haven't read The Snowy Day, I really recommend it. And even if it's a children's book, it's one of those texts that can speak to readers of all ages. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!